Today we're going to Dispatch Restaurant, a restaurant that I worked at for 1 year, from when it first opened till the day before the first COVID lockdown here in Ontario. So with that in mind, we're gonna drive over to Dispatch, have a quick chat with Adam, and we're going to watch him make his Aussie hand pies. He's done a ton of different flavors over the past year and a half, and they've all been my favorite thing I've eaten like that month. So super excited to see how he does it.
So, obviously you've got a couple of our pies at the shop.
We tried to, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the chicken, fennel, and truffle situation?
Correctamundo. So, basically we've got this beautiful fennel from Evan at Grumpy's Greens. Yep. We're using all the stems and the leaf. So basically, trim the bulb off.
Use it for something else.
All like every bit of that long, beautiful stem and fronds gets sliced down. We cooked all that down, sweated a whole lot of onion off, a little bit of garlic. All the fennel went into that. Truffles, pork fat, chicken fat, butter.
Yeah.
Season it up. Once that's done, we add a little bit of truffle and tartufo to it to boost that truffly goodness.
Are those the preserved truffles that you did in port? Like
correct.
10,000 years ago?
Yes. So they've been going through a very long, beautiful relationship in the preservation area.
What is it? Did you already say this? Is it thighs?
Yeah, just ground chicken thighs. At that point, it's stock or water that goes in, and we thicken it up. This particular filling is a little bit drier than what is typical with an Aussie pie, but you know it's still a lot wetter than say like what's the Quebec one?
Oh, like a tortilla.
Yeah, so it's still a little bit wetter than a tortilla, but it's still a little bit drier than your typical Aussie pie filling, which is more like this one here.
Okay. So is that a conscious change that you've made to make it like easier to eat?
No, just sort of finding and developing and mucking around with the recipes.
Yeah.
So I still just keep working around. Like nothing's properly locked in yet.
Yeah, you're just experimenting.
Yeah, so, but they're bloody good experiments.
Fuck. This chicken one is so, like, compared, seeing this mix now versus I've eaten it a couple of times, and it eats wetter than it looks, for lack of a better. Anyways, it's like, it has like a gravy to it.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it doesn't look like it's going to.
Yeah, which it's in there. It's still just when it's cool, it's a little bit.
Once it renders.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. This one typically is a lot fattier than once again normal pies. I normally use a portioning scoop for this. These get filled up.
And sorry, the bottom pastry and the top pastry are different, correct?
Yeah, so bottom short crust, or sort of a watery dough or flaky dough. But
with
once again,
not a lot of fat in it.
Correct. But once again, like if we look at the diversity in the world of pies, it's like dumplings or noodles, right? You go to one country, it's completely different. Like ravioli in Italy is a dumpling, but a bao in China is a different variation. So all these, you got your Scottish pie, you've got your Cornish pasty, or the pie that's done in Cornwall. You've got New Zealand pies versus Australian pies, and then once you get into Australia, you've got all your bakers doing their different variations on pastries. So for me, having like once again, we'll still be in development on it, but getting it so it's more flaky but it's still got to have. It can't fall apart. It's got to have malleability to it. Like it's got to be able to move a little bit, like a little bit of flexibility. It can't be greasy and it also can't crumble and fall apart. So it's a hand pie first and foremost.
Yep.
So it has to have the structure, to be able to hold up to you holding it and
So
eating
you
it
can walk
in your
down the
hand.
street and eat it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just the same way as you can pick up a slice of pizza and walk down.
Yeah.
So all of these things are very important. The other thing that we do, as a lot of the more boutique pie makers in Australia do, you get into puff pastry as a lid instead of more of that flaky pastries.
Why doesn't puff pastry work on the bottom? Because it doesn't have enough like structural integrity?
For me, it's taking on too much of that moisture, and you end up with more of that floppy dough, and it's just too wet. It doesn't have the structure to hold up. It's also, I question what's the point of it on the bottom when you can have a flakier pastry that will take that and then let the puff pastry shine on top.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, we fill them up. You want to give your edging a little bit of egg wash. So you've got a little bit of a glue for when you place the puff disc down. And you go around, and I basically create a bond and seal around every single pie, pressing it in, just like that.
What made you start doing this?
The pandemic unraveled me. I was in a very, very, very dark place. There's a lot of, like, I haven't been back home for 7 years. So I'm at that point again where I've not seen majority of my family for almost a decade.
Yeah.
It's very tough. It's very mentally taxing. There's also a lot that I just miss from back home, right?
Yeah, you're homesick.
Yeah. So, when the pandemic broke out, I didn't really want to give up what we were doing. In the back of my mind, it's like you can't, you don't want to give over, and you've got that battle between what are we meant to be doing, how are we meant to do this, what do we do to survive, all this sort of stuff. I'm pretty sure it was my dad or my mum that planted a seed in my head. I sort of shot them down initially.
Yeah. All the best ideas that I have come from something my mom has wanted me to do for 6 years, and I'm like, no, that's dumb, and then you're finally like, fuck, that's not dumb.
You give over, and you look like a right twat, don't you? So I look like a twat. I shot my parents down in this case, and then here I am making pies. So this is making me happy. I love a pie, and I will eat a pie over a slice of pizza any day. This speaks to me in the sense of cricket, going to the football.
All the nostalgia.
Yeah, you pick these up anywhere and everywhere. You go for they're just such an incredible thing, and they're also so versatile with what you put in them.
Right. Do you feel like that's what separates Aussie pies to like British pies the most? Is that like you're not finding like South Asian ingredients in a British pie?
Yeah.
But you easily could in Australia?
Yeah. And then the pastry itself, right? So yeah, like it's so versatile. So we've had to adapt and change. Like we're no longer the restaurant we once were, and we will never be. We're on a new trajectory since everything changed.
Yeah.
So this is something that can help us from a sustainability standpoint, and help our staff, and just give other options, and it's just another baby, and they're fun. They're like this. They're just such a fun thing to eat, and so easy, and yeah, they're making me happy.
Yeah.
So, and they let's be honest, they look bloody awesome once they're cooked.
They're so good.
Right?
And then
I've got
what?
This one is a pork and peanut
milkshake.
Milkshake, if you will. So basically we go back to that world of a wet curry paste.
Yeah.
I've got lemongrass, fresh kaffir leaf from our kaffir lime tree at home. There's ginger, garlic. All of this is blended into a wet paste. I caramelize a whole lot of onions off, and then I caramelize all of the aromats off, and then cook off a whole lot of ground pork, and then coconut milk, palm sugar, and then season it up from that point.
Peanuts?
And peanut butter.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So good.
Right. So that beautiful, and it's had time to sit. So it's been sitting there for the mixture got made, and then I let it sit for 2 to 3 days to really let that mixture develop and the flavors to marry in there. So
I was joking about the milkshake,
but it is. It's
but I
pork.
would totally drink that.
I mean, I would too. Think of it like bubble tea, just like the pork bits of bubble tea. I have some that I prepared earlier. So obviously, like we make them and IQF them individually, quick freeze. They're easier to cook from frozen. There's the reason for this is you don't need to worry about thawing them out, all that sort of stuff. The main reason is you at home, especially at home, even for us here in the kitchen using professional equipment, we're in thin foil pie tins.
Yeah.
In order for you to achieve that beautiful caramelization on the outside of the base and get proper puff on top,
Yeah.
cooking from frozen allows the pastry to cook in time before the inside has a chance to want to jump out and explode.
Yeah.
Whereas if we have it at fridge temp, by the time the pastry has a chance to cook, the inside is already boiling over and pushing out through the top. With every pie, there comes the trick of pattern and deciphering what pie is what without being able to see the inside.
Right.
So those tricks can be a cut of pastry that you just stick on top. In the case with us, I like to use seeds. So the pizza pie gets sesame seeds.
Yep.
We do fennel seeds for the chicken and fennel.
Yep.
For the pork and curry one, I'm doing cumin seeds.
Okay.
Because I didn't have coriander seeds, in this case, I would have preferred coriander seeds, but either of these two seeds are going to work. So at a quick glance, especially when you've got a pie warmer filled with different pies, at a quick glance you can decipher what it is. What I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to fire these into the oven. The chicken, fennel and truffle, and the other one is the pork and peanut satay sauce. So these are already made, frozen, ready to cook as you get them.
And then the cooking it from frozen sort of helps in that, like, it's not going to be liquid.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you bite into it, and then it's your
liquid.
problem.
Yep. Oh yeah. So once again, just that little bit of a wash. So same thing, back in we go. Create that seal by pinching. And once again, at this point, like how you crimp is entirely up to you as a baker, as a chef or whatever. So some bakers back home like to leave it just the way it is, so that when you're looking at the side from a side angle, all you're seeing is all the lamination of the pastry. Others like to do ornate little folds or twists or whatever. So it's entirely up to you. For me personally, I like just the basic pinch crimp and letting that side do its thing, so that you're looking at the seal point and the lamination of the puff pastry. I don't like hiding that.
And then you're going to do your own decoration with seeds and whatnot, so it's like...
Yeah, exactly. So always score. Now I say that, but then sometimes in my haste of making these and running a restaurant, I do everything and then get sidetracked, fire everything into the freezer, and I've forgotten to score everything.
Although that looked very satisfying when you scored it frozen. Like, I wanted to do that. That looked nice. Like, it looked like it felt nice.
It did, but I was also worried about the knife breaking, and I didn't want to end up with an injury. So once they're made and assembled like this, all we do is every one of them gets an egg wash on top. And this is normally done in the walk-in. So normally we're in production of massive pies, sprinkle with the seeds so that they have something to glue to.
I do.
That's the.
It still has 7 minutes and
Yeah.
30 seconds on it.
It does, but it doesn't mean I can't take them out. Look at that. Look at those beauties.
Woo.
All right. So, they're structurally intact.
Yep.
If you were to pick that up at the corner store, I'll set the scene. Grand final, footy fever, Essendon's playing Collingwood. This is Aussie rules for those that don't understand what I'm talking about. My team's Essendon, my brother's team's Collingwood. They're a bunch of mugs. We're going to watch it. Sell-out crowd, so over 100,000 people at the MCG. Walk into the arena. It's just absolutely, exciting. The game's on. Essendon smashing Collingwood.
People are selling people bags of candy left and right.
And you've got the guys and girls walking down the aisles of the stadium selling hot pies, and they'll be walking down yelling out, "Hot pies, cold beer! Hot pies, cold beer!" And you'll be like, "I'll take 2 of those pies. Send me over some VB." I'm loving watching Essendon thrash the pies. So that's the scene, and you'll sit there, you'll take one of those beauties. Typically over there it's 4 and 20. They're shit pies, but
sure.
They are what they are.
Are they cheaper than the beer? Is the beer more expensive than the pie? What's the ratio?
I mean, it's fairly reasonable over there compared, I think
it's just VB.
Yeah, I think they're serving Carlton mid-strength. It's lower alcohol in the stands.
Just to keep it real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise,
keep the crowd a little bit more under control. But yeah, so you just sit there, take one of those, and they'll you just take it out of the wrapper, and you sit there with your pie, and you just
Where's the
eat it
timer
that way. 1:30.
Oh my God. You're
So
golden.
I mean, you could go in. Did you want to do it?
No.
I think you should.
I think you should.
I kind of want you to. I want you to. I want you to tell me what your thoughts are of that. That's the satay pie.
Okay.
So I'd like for you to go in there and tell
Jess,
me.
are you gonna try?
Yeah. Look at the lamination. Look at the puff, right?
Have you got close-ups and glamour shots of these yet?
We got lots of beauty shots
Yeah?
for you, yeah.
And obviously, the technique, you gotta do that. And the technique
You
is
guys-
always to create a little bit
Well,
of a
go
bowl.
on, show me then.
But you've got to eat it. COVID and all.
I don't want to burn my fucking life away. Because I saw, look at this milkshake. This is gonna be a soup sandwich.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Oh, that would have been hilarious. How did she die? See,
A hot shot of pie filling.
My Canadian hack that I've just invented is.
Yeah, the spoon. Mm-hmm. But that's the trick, right? Like you want to eat it with a bowl. So you basically eat across and work your way down.
But then these edges
Can also
have
double up
so
as a
much
spoon.
structure
Yeah.
that you can use them to dip.
But it doesn't fall apart as you see.
It doesn't fall
as
apart.
you eat, right?
But you can see there, it's just on the edge of glory. You gotta kind of hold it
Yeah.
at a fucking angle.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. No more excuses now. How's that?
Unreal.
Yeah.
Unfucking real.
I'm yet to try this one actually. Finished
Dude, it's
product.
so good. You did a chicken similar situation in the summer, right?
Yeah, that was more using up ingredients because of COVID and all.
Do you think that's why, to me?
Another reason as to why I started doing pies.
Well, no, I'm just thinking, do you think that's where pies came from? Hey, we made
possibly.
Sunday roast. We have
Yeah.
this much something. Let's
Yeah.
turn it into something that can feed the whole family.
Could very well be like shepherd's pie.
Oh. So are English pies easier to eat? Or do you not know what you're doing here?
I couldn't try it because you ruined it, so I was just like, I don't know what to do.
So I clearly with these ones I still need to work on how much more thick they need to be. But this is the first time I've done this one, right? So this is development. But this is a soup pie.
The sheer fact that this pie has any structural integrity and it is full of soup is a miracle.
Right.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where to go from here.
That's why I just did it.
Where's the Zug container? Thank you.
There you go.
Um,
We could also put it into a bowl so you can attack the other one. You trying your chicken fennel truffle pie? Like the inside of this one, clearly, obviously going to be a different story.
yeah.
There you go. That's
But like the fact that like, can you see that?
who wants the bigger.
Me.
It
is like glistening.
Large bowl
Is that-
of pasta.
Compared to what went into the pie, like, you know what I mean? Like it's fucking wet.
Oh, that's okay.
Jess just like licking it.
That's how you test it, with your tongue.
Remember?
And so, cooking instructions. Obviously, you having them at Bushel and Peck, they're in the freezer, IQF. So IQF being individually quick frozen. So they're ready to cook, ready to bake. All you have to do is preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius,
Or 350.
375. If you have convection, and I understand that not every home cook has a convection oven, but like if your oven's going to be too dry, there's techniques where like, you know, you can always throw a little container that's not going to melt in the oven, put a little bit of water in it, put in there so there's a little bit of moisture circulating around the oven if you want to balance the humidity.
However, I will say we have never done that, and they
Yeah.
always come out incredible.
Well, there
in
you
our,
go.
like shitty Samsung oven.
And is it convection?
I put it on convection.
I've done it both ways.
Yeah.
Just out of experiment.
30
Right.
minutes? Is that
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, so 30 minutes, but I mean, once again, everyone's oven is different. So somebody's oven may require that extra extra 10 minutes to take it to 40. So also,
You're looking for color.
you're looking for that caramelization. You want color. So yeah, basically preheat your oven onto a tray, straight in the oven from frozen, 30 to 40 minutes, 180 degrees C, 350, 375 Fahrenheit, and you're good to go. You can do so much more. You can eat it as it is. You can dress it up. So serve it with, you know, a salad on the side. You can do what we
bit of
do here at
mash.
the restaurant, which is a pie floater. Essentially in Victoria and South Australia, we call it a pie floater. New South Wales, they call it a tiger pie. So this is where you're essentially serving a pie in a bowl of mushy peas. You're putting potato mash and gravy and dead horse, as we call it, dead horse, or tomato sauce. We don't call it ketchup in Australia. So you throw a bit of dead horse on your pie.
Why is it dead horse?
Rhyming slang, dead horse sauce.
Oh.
Sorry, we don't say sass, dead.
Sounds like cockney slang.
Well, it is. That's where Australian slang comes from,
This
which
from
is
the guy
slang.
who couldn't figure out apples and pears when I
Well,
said
there was
huge
no
answer.
context behind it. It just said apples and pears, and I'm like, stone fruit. I didn't realise you were going down. If you had have said, "Hey, rhyming slang," I would have been all
Nope.
over it.
I was disappointed in you.
Yeah, no fucking context.
I used to work for an Australian guy. He made Aussie pies.
Yeah.
He put the mushy peas in the pie.
Yeah.
Oh, they were
Oh yeah. So that's, you know, you can smash it down a little bit and
As like a layer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's heaps of options. We do it here at the restaurant where we just have fun with it. So, you know, currently it's sitting in a coconut green curry sauce. And then we just put pickled onions mixed with lettuce on top, and then fried peanuts and shallots.
Oh my god.
It's
Get out.
it's simple, it's fun. You know, we muck around with the flavors that we have and just, you know, make it what it is. So
It's so good. It's so fucking good.
thank you
It's
very
the most-
much.
I was saying this earlier, but literally, the pandemic has been shit. A horrible time. Super stressful, devastating, stressful, more stress. But if we all get to all of a sudden eat our favorite chef's food in the restaurant, on a patio, at some wine bar down the street, because they're selling it there, in our pajamas, on our couch, that's a win-win.
Mhm.
And you never would have taken the time to do that if you hadn't been forced to.
Mhm.
So it's that tiny little sliver of it is fucking amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible. The game's changed.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm so
there's-
glad you're doing this, and I'm so like you're doing it in such a way that's so authentic to you.
Mhm.
It's super special.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I'm obsessed.
I'm
I
glad.
stitch myself up as a retailer. I do such a bad job because we'll have like one left, and I'm like, you should buy 4 to everyone who comes in the shop, because I'm just like a psycho, and they're the greatest thing I've ever eaten. People are like, there's none in your freezer. I'm like, oh, never mind. Do you have any more pies?
Well, I'll keep them coming. I'm Adam from Dispatch. You can find us here at the restaurant Thursday, Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Also on TOC, T-O-C-K. Check us out there. Don't hesitate to email or message us if you have any questions, or leave us a message on the phone and we'll endeavour to get back to you as soon as possible. Hope to see you soon. Cheers!
I was just trying to capture your
Stance.